Now, you mentioned, you have these IOC scientists that are able to study the data, but what sort of analytics does the device feedback to the user? What sort of feedback does a user get in using KAATSU?
So it depends what product people are using. We have a very sophisticated product we utilize with a Massimo finger pulse oximeter that can measure everything from a respiratory rate to perfusion index, et cetera. So that gets pretty complex. And everybody, other than, let's say, an Olympic athlete, a professional athlete, or a special operations, special forces soldier, they don't really need that. They can actually feel and sense. Let's say my parents in their 80s or my sisters in their 50s, for example, they fundamentally feel better after KAATSU than on a day not doing KAATSU. So a lot of the feedback is usually more psychological and physical. Let's say for that older man who their sense of balance is off, or they have a problem because maybe they have a frozen shoulder or something. Just washing their hair, or putting on, or let's say a female who's putting on mascara and she just doesn't do that as well as she did when she was in her 20s. We more focus on, and we ask our customers, what do you want to achieve? What is the thing that you would like most to do? Most people are more focused on a quality of life issue. They come to us because they've had a hip surgery. They come to us because they have all kinds of physical ailments. And, so them, it's simply, I'd like to walk my dog again. I'd like to be able to throw a Frisbee for my dog. I can't move my shoulder like this, or I don't have the strength to move it. So we work on whatever the customer, the patient, would like to achieve. Once we get them to that point and they realize, we had a professor at the Harvard Medical School. He actually hadn't been able to give a lecture in about a year and a half. He couldn't raise his arm to write on the whiteboard. We said, Professor, what do we like do? He says, because he had some arthritis, some other issues. And he said, I want to write on a whiteboard so my students can actually see what I'm writing as opposed to just verbal. And he, achieved that within 6 weeks, and he was a very happy camper. He was back being a professor in front of the whiteboard. So again, what is the feedback that people get, to specifically answer your question? It's actually based on what their goal is. And some people literally want to get stronger. They want to be stronger on a bench press, or they want to increase the vertical leap. And so we have literally several hundreds of protocols for people to do in order to achieve, washing their hair, writing on a whiteboard, increasing their vertical leap, or just doing a push-up. We've had many men who said, I can't even tie my shoes without sitting down. So that is the goal that is a feedback, and that is a goal that we identify with the customers and that we aim to help them achieve in a short period of time.
Purpose and intention when you're healing are so essential. You have to know what you're aiming for, right? Yeah. Because sometimes the expectations of, if you're 70 or 80 to feel 18 again, probably aren't going to happen. Yeah. Maybe, but likely not. But yeah, if you have that intention of just being able to raise your hand, as you mentioned, because you couldn't. I mean, that's a remarkable thing. If you can't raise your hand, then you can. That's an amazing, accomplishment for many. Yeah. So, as far as the optimal frequency and duration, is this a everyday device for an hour? Is there optimal? Is there too much?
Yes, there is. We believe you should do it every day. Okay. And many people do it 2 or 3 times a day. And when I say do it, I would say between 20 and 30 minutes. A lot of people say, oh my God, that's a lot of work you're asking me to do. 2 or 3 times a day at 30 minutes a piece. And we said, no. Our concept is what we call double stacking. So in other words, do KAATSU, put our bands on as you're doing something else. If you're working from home, if you're a reporter, if you're a researcher, and you're in front of your laptop, you're in the laboratory or you're in the office, put it on while you're working. Your work is your primary goal, but you're still getting the benefit of this engorgement of blood in the limbs and then the subsequent hormonal response. So don't look at it like I got to do this every day or I got to do this twice a day. Look at it like continue your life, continue what you do on a daily basis, and throw on the bands as you do whatever you're doing. It could be walking the dog. As you walk the dog, put the leg bands on. It could be washing your car or cleaning your kitchen cabinet or kitchen countertop. Just put the bands on, and you're going to clean the kitchen cabinet anyway. You're going to walk the dog anyway. Put on the bands, and that's what we mean by this double stacking concept. So KAATSU does not become a barrier for exercise. It becomes an enhancer of what you're going to do anyway.
Yeah, it's one of those things, people realize, I don't believe in multitasking, but the body does millions of things at once anyway. Every single cell is, doing something, thousands of chemical processes, and utilizing that in a way where you're going about your everyday life, but you're just switching that one piece to truly improve your health and performance.